again with all of you. I promised to answer questions that you all had submitted a while ago. So, not a while ago, actually, last week, I think. And I wasn't able to go live on those days. So, here I am, and I'm sitting outside enjoying a very clear, thank God, very clear sky and beautiful sun shining down on me. And I'm so excited to, like I said, answer all of your questions. So let's go back to the beginning of the questions that were submitted. And the first question was from Antagonista, and she says, best supplements for strep or UTIs. So if you have a UTI, the protocols to use for that include, you want to bring in the core 7. I always talk about the core 7 because they form the foundational supplements that you need for antiviral, antibacterial support. So the most important, supplements that you want to bring in for this include. Let me just pull it up. I have my notes that I made ahead of time so I could answer your questions. So, the most important supplements other than the core 7. So, I'll name what the core 7 are in case you don't know. So, if you're coming on here and saying hello, jump on and tell me where in the world you are, tell me what in the world you're drinking. I had a late start today, so I'm working on my drinks for the morning, my celery juice, my watermelon juice. And tell me. Happy trails. Hey, Serena. Hey, Lisa Fall. Nice to see you here. So, UTI questions. So, if you have a question and you're joining the feed now, so jump on and ask me a question. So, the for UTIs, I would recommend doing the core 7. So, start with zinc, B12, micro C, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root. That's the core 7. And then on top of that, I would add in golden seal, I would add in D-mannose, I would add in cranberry tablets by Eclectic Herbs, or cranberry water, the medical medium recipe for cranberry water. I would also bring in a little olive leaf total immune blend, maybe a little oil of oregano, and all those will help you to battle a UTI. Okay, so our next question is, how do we stop itching with eczema? This is from Kobili Ahmadi. And how do we stop itching with eczema? This is a really good question. So, the way you stop itching with eczema is to first deal with the underlying viral condition. So, first of all, you want to deal with, again, the core 7. So, B12, zinc, micro C, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root. That's the core 7. And then on top of that, you want to add in curcumin, chaga, golden seal, propolis, total immune blend, because these supports help your help your skin and liver to do a little better by knocking back the virus, killing it off. You may have a surge of symptoms as you do this. Bring in celery juice, bring in heavy metal detox, because heavy metals are really implicated a lot in um, in skin conditions like eczema. So Anthony Williams says that it's Epstein-Barr virus eating copper or mercury in the liver, but mostly mercury when it's eczema. So it could be mostly copper. I think for mercury, it's more mercury when it's psoriasis. So it's really important to bring all of those elements in and knock back, the troublemaker foods. Don't bring those in. Cut them back. Protect yourself from troublemakers like eggs, dairy, gluten, corn, soy, canola, coffee, vinegar. Protect yourself from those types of things. And for eczema, particularly grains, grains can cause itching. So you want to stay off grains, not greens, not leafy greens, but grains like rice, quinoa, millet, oats. Even, I mean, oats and millet are great foods, but they won't hurt you. But when you have eczema, you ask any person with eczema, when they eat grains, they get all itchy. So, what takes the itch away can be aloe and aloe shock therapy too. So, I also have products on my Amazon store. If you go to Skin Support on my Amazon store, all the products there I've tried and tested for eczema, and it's really made a big difference. So, I hope that helps. All right, our next question is from, are there any side effects from the coatings of all the capsules that we take? You mean from Vimergy? No, I wouldn't say so. Marina says, what to do when my dad has gallstones and gallbladder issues? How to save the organ? Well, you have to come off fat. In order to save a gallbladder, you have to stop eating fat and you have to bring in a lot of liver support. So you bring in uh, celery juice, you bring in heavy metal detox smoothie, you bring in, often gallbladders get infected as well with strep bacteria or E. coli. So you want to bring in all the strep support that I just talked about. So the golden seal, the core 7, the golden seal, the propolis, lomatium, thyme, oregano, things like that can make a big difference. But also for gallbladder. So if it's gallstones, it's one issue. If it's gallbladder disease, it's another issue. Gallbladder sickness. Um, uh, I would bring in cardamom. There's a lot of teas involved in dealing with gallbladder, right? So there's also tinctures of, say, ginger, cardamom, or even doing ginger juice. That would help. And then chicory tea is very helpful. Bringing in some dandelion, um, some burdock, they can be all super helpful. So gallbladder is like, oranges and tangerines are really good for the gallbladder. So bringing in some orange juice. Parsley has a purging effect on the gallbladder. So bring that in. Tomatoes are really helpful as well. They can get rid of sludge from a gallbladder. Zucchini is really helpful for a gallbladder. And then for supplements, um, like I mentioned before, I mentioned some supplements already, but also ginger is a really big one. If you haven't brought in ginger yet, bring in ginger. Glutathione is helpful. Hibiscus is really helpful. Licorice root can really calm down an inflamed gallbladder. And then MSM is really helpful for gallbladder. Iodine, nettle leaf, raspberry leaf. Yeah, so I hope that these are good ideas for your dad. I would recommend, you know, yellow dock tea too, but it's actually quite strong and bitter. So if your dad is the one who needs it, I probably wouldn't recommend that for him yet because it can be quite strong. Okay, so Elizabeth Maslin, good morning. Lisa Obal says, good morning. Is there a protocol for heartburn in the moment it's happening so I don't have to take Tums? Yeah, bring in celery juice and aloe or parsley shots in the moment that it's happening, and it should help. Gina Plowman from Tampa, Florida, welcome. Lisa says, is watermelon juice okay on the Advanced 369 day 3? Would love to make one. I include it because I'm doing it long term. I'm on day 19 today of my 369 cleanse. And I include it because I start to get really dehydrated, and it helps me stay hydrated the rest of the day. So, and it is summer and I'm sitting outside. So, and it is a viable option for the morning cleanse. So Anthony has said that if you're doing the morning cleanse, you can include watermelon juice after celery juice. Um, while I was dealing with psoriasis with Substance Diet, if I rub propolis on it, that helped calm the itching. Yeah, for some people, propolis topically can be super, super helpful. So thank you for that tip, Serena. Okay, good morning, Barbara Adler. Nice to see you here. Okay, our next question is from Sveti, and she says, I've been on for 6 years. Over the last year, my hair has thinned out. So what can I do for that? So if your hair has started to thin out, it means that your adrenals are getting weaker. And I brought this just to show you this particular supplement really makes a difference. It's ashwagandha by Vimergy. It makes a huge, huge difference to your protocols. If you are losing your hair or thinning hair or even graying hair, this supplement makes a huge difference. It's ashwagandha. I know it's probably showing up reversed on the screen for you, but this is what I recommend for thinning hair. It's an amazing supplement for it. Okay, our next question is from Heal with Core. What color is healthy oxygenated blood when you get blood drawn? Should be bright red. Um, the Heather Sanders says kids recurring ear infection on the core 7 already, HMD, celery juice, garlic drops, enlarged lymph nodes in the head. If that's going on, you might be dealing with an underlying mono. And for that, I would work harder with some of these protocols. I would do some shock therapies like propolis shock, golden seal shock, zinc shock, micro C shock, child level, child level, and that should help make a difference. Our next question is from Nora Berner, and Nora says, "My whole body is sore to touch. End of my first trimester." So, honey, I think you might be dealing with a bit of a viral flare, and so bring in. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you what to do here, but because you're a client, I could talk to you about what supplements and things to bring in, or what foods to bring in to help with that. But really, you should be focusing a lot on, say, turmeric ginger shots, which can help bring down the pain levels, and uh, maybe even doing a little bit more nettle leaf, which you can do while pregnant, because pregnancy is always a bit tricky, and I can help you, but I can advise you better if we're not here on a live call, where it's a very tricky thing with pregnancy. Okay, so our next question is from Camilla Maui, and she says, "What is the cause of heavy calculus buildup on the teeth? Usually, it comes from the gut. It comes from what's matter that comes up from the gut, material, old poisons, toxins, things that gather in the mouth and can collect on the teeth. So that's usually the cause of it." TW Catherine says, "3-year-old kid has flu and he doesn't feel like he wants to eat fruit, and when he wants, what can I do to help him with his adrenals?" So give him a spoon of honey or maple syrup or even some orange juice. If he doesn't want to eat a piece of fruit, give him a smoothie or give him something else or a popsicle. Any of those situations will, any of those options should work to help. So Mary MCMA says, "What causes heart murmurs in babies and kids? This is caused by HHV6, usually a virus like that. It doesn't have to be like that, but usually it's a virus like that." Miriam CMA also asks, "With toxic thick blood, why do some people get high blood pressure and others get chronically low blood pressure?" So blood pressure is always caused by thick blood, and it's not like when you have really low BP, it's not because your blood might be thick, but you're also really toxic. So your BP drops because your heart is pumping less blood, so it doesn't move all the toxins around as easily or as quickly. Okay. Um, all right. So if you're just joining us, jump on here and post a comment or a question. Tell me where in the world you are. Tell me what in the world you're eating or drinking. I'm here to support you and answering all of your questions, trying to get you help to move you further along with your health. Um, yeah. So come on and ask me a question. So, another question is from Girl Like a Pearl. How to reduce lots of fine lines on my hands? Please guide. I'm on the lifestyle from January. So if you've got fine lines, aging is actually a liver issue. So you want to bring in a lot more amla berry, dandelion, milk thistle, and some aloe and silica to help with that. Killingsworth Hilda, nice to have you here. Can dry needling trigger the adrenal glands or anything in the body in a negative way? Yes, definitely can trigger the adrenals. Denise Christensen says, "What brand of black walnut tincture do you recommend?" I have recommended in the past Nature's Answer, but you have to check on their glycerin. Simone Bird says, "Symptoms with chattering teeth and twitching. I'm taking HMDS and some supplements, honey." That's a viral issue. It's a viral issue. So, so I feel like with this viral issue, um, you need to be addressing it with more curcumin, propolis, B complex, 5-MTHF, giving EPA DHA a little bit more support for the nervous system. Okay, so let's go to our live chat here. Gina says, GI doctors are pushing endoscopy and colonoscopy because I've had GI issues and I never had these done. I'm diagnosed with Lyme, chronic EBV, etc., and I'm concerned about anesthesia and the procedure. What is your opinion on these tests in general? Um, I feel like they have a place, and you know, they have a place. There's a place for these tests. Definitely, they can help diagnose issues that people have, especially if you have ongoing issues and you need to get some support for that. So, I feel like that's definitely an important thing. However, I feel I do also feel that it's important for you as an individual to evaluate when it's the right time and place for you to have such a test, and also for you to think about what do you want to get out of the test. So you want to also consider whether a test is reliable. Is it going to give you good information? Is it worth going through the exposures that you'll go through to do the test? Um, you know, what does the information mean to you? Are you really worried about it? If you're really worried about it, then maybe you need to do it. If you're not really worried about it, it's not concerning you and you don't think it's important, maybe go to another doctor and a get a second opinion. You know, I don't like to, like, with a straight brush, there's issues with any medical intervention. So if you're doing them, you really have to evaluate whether the risk that you're taking is worth taking for you. um, So, I mean, usually you don't need both endoscopy and colonoscopy. Usually it's one or the other. But you really want to evaluate and maybe get a second opinion. Okay. Sunil Varma says, "Can I get better?" Sure. Tell me what you have going on. Um, I think you've come on before, but tell me what you have going on. Kathy Gordon from Panama City, Florida, just finished 30 ounces of celery juice. I'm working on mine. I'm getting it down. I had a late start today. One for, do you know someone who got rid of a scalloped tongue? If so, how long did it take them? Many people got rid of a scalloped tongue in my practice. Uh, it depends. Some people get rid of it in 6 months. Some people, and it depends how sick you are. It depends how toxic you are. It depends how much your liver is struggling. So some people took 3 years. On average, that's the range. Um, Catopitmus spursmus. It's such a funny name. I've seen that before. It always makes me laugh. Pure encapsulations, Vitex Berry or Gaia Vitex Berry. I would say Gaia is probably better. Next question is from P. Trev. What helps CJD disease? So I am thinking you mean CKD, which is chronic kidney disease, and not CJD, because I did a search for CJD and I couldn't find anything. I'm like, I think they mean, because J and K are very close on the board, on the keyboard. So I think you mean CKD. So with CKD, you really want to come off all animal protein, because animal protein is very hard for the for the kidneys to process through. And I also really think that you should uh, start celery juice, cucumber juice. It really also depends on how advanced the disease is. So if it's super advanced, it's harder to work with the tools. But if it's in its early stages, then we can really make a big difference and make a big shift quickly. I'm not saying that you cannot help someone with advanced disease. You can. It just takes a lot longer, and you have to work more carefully. And it's harder to give you a recommendation here in the session because on this live, because I really need to see them and talk to them. But if you're just starting out, then it's easier. So cut out all the animal protein and then make sure that you've got them on cucumber juice, celery juice, a little bit of heavy metal detox if they can handle it. And, also it really depends on whether you can recommend, like uh, can you recommend more foods that have potassium in them, because sometimes with CKD someone has high potassium and you really can't go more in that direction. So it's really important to know um, what you're dealing with and where you are with that disease. Chrissy Lou, great question. Welcome, welcome. She says, what do you think about red light therapy? I think red light therapy has benefits in working with injuries. If you have an injury, then putting on red light therapy can be really helpful, along with other protocols. I don't think by itself it would do magic, but I think it can bring down inflammation in tissues. Um, But it's not like I said, if you combine it with medical medium protocols, supplements, foods, and red light therapy, you do feel more of a difference. But like everyone's like, oh, red light therapy for the face, and red light therapy for the nose, and red light therapy for your ears, and like all kinds of red light therapy tools out there. Um, I have a light, and I have a discount code for it as well. So if you guys want it, let me know. But I have a Lumibox light, and I have used it with my daughter when she's had like growing pains, or she's had or they've had an injury and they sit in front of the light, and I think it does make a difference for that. But I really don't think it's um, a universal panacea for everything. Like, that's how they do out there now. And when they start talking about one thing, suddenly it becomes a cure for everything, or it supports everything that you go through. Um, so um, so why, after years on Info, would a person get glaucoma, macular degeneration? Plus, besides protocols, what else can you recommend? Because you see, protocols are specific to deal with specific issues. So if you are not dealing with that specific issue from the get go, then and you don't know it's happening or developing, then you wouldn't get on top of it. So it doesn't mean that is like the prevention of everything in your life, because if you have a an issue that's been brewing for a while and then it pops up, the protocols will help slow things down, and they will help you cleanse parts of the body, but it's not a universal thing. And so how many, for example, 369 cleanses have you done in 8 years? Maybe you've done a few, maybe you've done some. So why after 8 years? I think this is a very common question that people ask, because the information has been around since the books were published in 2015. So it's been 11 years now. So a lot of people have been doing these things for a while. But you have to understand, like, there's so many underlying issues that can crop up, especially because they can be long-term issues that maybe you didn't know you had, or you didn't know to address. So these matter as well. So it's not to say that being on will like stop any issue ever. But if you have something brewing and it's not addressed, it will pop up, but you can address it with information. I do find that there's people who will start doing info and then not really do anything else, like not check on other parts of their health or follow up on, if something's not feeling quite right. And they sort of just say, oh, I'll just deal with it with info. And sometimes you really just need to go get something checked, and you really should go get it checked, because that matters, right? And next question is from ss bu8s. How do you help someone with sagging skin? Can you talk about mino minocycline for hair loss and glutathione injections for good skin? So for sagging skin, your liver is what governs aging. When you look aged and you have sagging skin, wrinkled skin, thinning hair, like, all those aging, attributes, then that is coming because your liver is getting sicker, especially if you're aging before your time. But even if you're aging in time, it's still your liver, right? So how to support that is to get more silica into your body, and to support the liver, by cutting out troublemaker foods like eggs, dairy, gluten, corn, soy, canola, cutting out and bringing in more healing foods like fruits, vegetables, wild foods, herbs. All of those will help to support you. Bringing in, like, artichokes have high silica, and horsetail tea has high silica. Using a silica supplement, not collagen, because collagen will not make a difference, but all of the ones I just mentioned. Minoxidil for hair loss. I mean, like I just talked about hair thinning and hair loss, and I just explained how when you lose your hair, you need this, right? Ashwagandha. So you need, and glutathione injections I would avoid, because injections can, you take oral glutathione, why take an injection? You know what I mean? That is something that where I would go. Um, so um, so what helps with rheumatoid arthritis, vertigo, and sciatic pain? So rheumatoid arthritis is caused by Epstein-Barr virus. Vertigo is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus attacking the vagus nerve, which swells and then causes dizziness. And then sciatic pain is caused by shingles virus attacking the sciatic nerve. So to help with these conditions, I mean, there are big protocols for each condition, but if you're in pain, you could take curcumin and MSM and nettle and cal poppy and magnesium glycinate and lemon balm for pain. But if you don't address the underlying viral issue, then you're going to struggle, right? You're going to struggle to get rid of it completely. And they will have some impact, but not impact all the way. You have to address the viral issue to get rid of all of it. My father had RA and he got much, much better. So I just want to put that out there as well. So, Paula, hi, Paula or Orfino, sudden hearing loss from 1 year out of nowhere that's caused by Epstein-Barr. You need a lot of antioxidants. You need spirulina and wild blueberries and chaga and ALA, NAC, MSM, glutathione, all these antioxidants to get it back. Opo lady says several yeast infections over the last year using OTC over the counter treatment. What do you recommend? Also, what hormones? Primarily not eating the no foods, but also occasionally I do. So yeast infections are actually a strep infection. Yeast is the messenger telling you that strep is really growing and it's a problem. So OTC treatments will help you get momentary or temporary relief, but they're not going to resolve the issue. So if you're not eating no foods, I would 100% stay off the no foods, but then also bring in oil of oregano, garlic, mullein, thyme, lomatium, golden seal, vitamin C, zinc. They will all help you to recover. And you can also, if you go to my website and go to find the golden seal eye wash, I will post that recipe here for you now. And you can use the golden seal eye wash and then douche it. Yeah, you can douche it, and it can when you douche it, you will be able to also help get rid of that strep a little bit more directly. And you can, here's the link, I just posted it for you, so hopefully you'll get that. All right, our next question, I'm going back to the submitted questions because I like to give them priority. Maria Jesus says, 5 years on uterine fibroid growing bigger and bigger. Any advice, please? I'm actually working with a couple of women right now who are able to reduce their fibroids. So, and I'm working with another one who's in the process of working on her fibroid. So fibroids can reduce. There's two types of fibroids. One is caused by Epstein-Barr, one is caused by strep. They have different shapes. So you can ask your doctor what kind of shape your fibroid is, and you can use medical media information to figure out what type of fibroid you have and then use the appropriate protocol. But the protocols that are in the books also cover you for both. So you could, and it's a growth. It's actually Epstein-Barr encapsulating, EBV neurotoxins and poisons. So that's what's doing it. If you go to, if you do you have Cleanse to Heal? If you have Cleanse to Heal, then I would use that to get the protocol that you need, because it's a really, really helpful thing to do. Again, you start always with the basic core 7, nettle leaf, red raspberry leaf, vitex berry. And of course, I can't give you just a sort of protocol right now, right here, because what happens is that you could have other underlying issues going on. I wouldn't know about them. Bringing in some endocrine support like iodine and ashwagandha are really important too. And then chaga is important. It kind of reduces things in the body. Golden seal, propolis, nettle leaf, like I said, oil of oregano, lysine, curcumin, really important. So start to do some of those, and hopefully the fibroids will start to turn around. So next question is, oh wow, there's a lot of questions that have popped up here. Okay, so let's go, where was I? Okay, Candy Kessler. Candy says, I've been on MM for 2 years and just completed my 10th 369. I don't feel much different when cleansing except a little bit more fatigue. Does that mean I didn't cleanse well or not that toxic? If you're slightly tired, you are cleansing, probably. There is sometimes a little bit of tiredness that shows up when you're cleansing. Your body's working really hard to get rid of things. So, yeah, I don't think you're that toxic, first of all. And um, keep on keeping on because, it helps to prevent issues in the future that you could end up with. So it's important. Yeah. Next question is follow up from the yeast question. I do the morning cleanse every day. Yeah, that might not be enough. You might need to do more. Um, but it's good that you're doing the morning cleanse every day. So this question's from Marina Reidler, and she says, "Good morning, Muneeza. I woke up with intense back pain yesterday, and if a nerve is blocked, I haven't been on protocol for some time because I was moving and not near my juicer, so I only had lemon water in the mornings. I haven't suffered from back pain in over years. Anything I can do for a quick fix?" Quick fixes, well, I want to help you, but for pain, immediately you should be trying Cal Poppy shock therapy, lemon balm shock therapy, golden seal propolis shock therapy, micro C zinc. See if that helps. And ancient minerals magnesium cream can be helpful. Curcumin, try those. Hopefully it'll. But you really do need to deal. You have a shingles flare happening, and it won't just go away just by doing the quick fix. You'll have to deal with it in a deeper way. All right. Our next question is from Blacklock Flock. Is hair loss the same for men? Adrenals? Not always. Some hair loss for men is related to a genetic thing. It's the male pattern balding, and that's a genetic factor. But for in other ways, yes, it can be also related to adrenals. Um, so, what about red light therapy for the gums? Yeah, that can be helpful if you want to put it in the gums and you have inflamed gums. It could be, but it's not, like I said, it doesn't make that much difference in what I have experienced. Um, Also, what helps with cataracts, says that you have to do a lot of cleansing, and saffron really helps. You can't do saffron and no cleansing. It's not going to work. Cataracts are very hard to get rid of, and it's one of the things that is hardest to get rid of. So you need to do a lot of work for that. Um, Bourbon, you're outside enjoying the sun. You're here again. Nice to have you. Jody Zollinger, what are the best foods and supplements for UTI? Go to the beginning of this live and listen. That's the first question that I answered today. My friend has polycythemia, and doctors are taking massive amounts of blood. What can she do to help herself? Taking blood away couldn't be helpful. Well, yeah, it will reduce the immune system, so maybe she can negotiate for less blood to be taken. That's the only thing that I can say that she should do here. What do you recommend for PMDD and perimenopause moodiness? Does yam cream help? Yes, it can help for that, for sure. But perimenopause really is a viral issue. It's not really your hormones. It's a viral issue becoming bigger because your hormones are changing. And when hormonal changes happen, sometimes our immune system dips a little bit, and that's why we experience issues. So you really want to deal with the underlying viral pieces of it. And PMDD is one of those as well. Judy, hello. My goodness, that's a blast from the past. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever. Okay, so where can you find OSHA? OSHA, I like, well, I used to offer from Nature's Answer. So you can look them up, or Hawaii Farm too. But again, it's, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Berman said, you said morning. Questions are a lot. LOL. Yes, lots of questions. This is why I keep inviting people to join our programs, because they have so many questions and we want to give you deeper answers. In fact, we're doing a sleep workshop that's starting next week. So if you're interested, I'm just going to put the quick link up in the corner. Click on the sleep workshop QR code and you can go check it out. It's going to give you personalized help for your sleep. Plus, we're offering a Vimergy discount code. We're offering codes for sleep products that I love using. So we have a lot of bonuses and things. So definitely go check all that out. Okay, our next question. I'm going to go back to the submitted questions because I like to give those priority because people take the time to put them in. And do you need copper if you take zinc? No, you don't. They don't balance each other out. This is a myth. Medical Medium has addressed this multiple times. Loud Health says, LOL, wondering tips for organizing and staying on top of it all day to day. By the way, swish with CJ vitamins, parsley, shots throughout the day. It's a lot. And I have kids. Yes, it's a lot. So I do bulk. What saves my butt every day, every week, is that I batch prep food on the weekend. So I batch prep food for the entire week. I'll make things like, batch prep soups and batch prep a curry, or batch prep foods that I can make a lot of and then put them in the fridge for the week. And then we all eat like that food for each particular day of the week. And on the day I can steam potatoes, or I can make a quick thing of millet, to go with the foods. But that's how I stay on top of all of what we do here. Okay, so then our next question is from Beatrice. Hi, Beatrice. I get so tired when I increase celery juice on the 369 to the recommended 32 two times a day for pots. What should I keep going? No, if you get really tired, then I would hold back on that a little bit and I would do less. Like maybe you can do 32 in the morning, and maybe you can do 16 in the afternoon or 8 in the afternoon, and take your time to build up to that 32 in the afternoon. What helps with respiratory throat infections and rhinitis? That's all strep related. Can you explain if hirsutism is caused by PCOS or reversible, and if so, how? Hirsutism is caused by toxic hormones, toxic adrenaline, but also not toxic estrogen. Toxic estrogen. So you have to get rid of toxic estrogen. Sweet potatoes are one of the best ways to do that. And strep often, if it's not viral like flu or C or whatever, then it's strep, especially rhinitis. Rhinitis is always strep. Throat infections and respiratory could be viral also. Um, okay, next question is from Christina Vree. I have decaying tooth and decaying from the inside out. It's been like that for over 8 years now, and I need to pull it. But would it be safer to replace it with a ceramic screw in a tooth? Safer than, like, I think that Anthony always says that implants are to be avoided unless don't have another option. But really, to work with these protocols, I would recommend that you use, maybe not necessarily an implant, but maybe you could use a denture or a bridge or a crown. I mean, but if they have to take the tooth out, then maybe a bridge could work as well. Um, yeah, there's many ways to work it, but you don't have to go to an implant as a first option. Our next question is from Healing MM Healthy. So sun rash, chest, and upper back. So if you have a sun rash on your chest, and usually if the sun is triggering something, it's a trigger, because the sun is actually quite healing for us. If you can see, I'm sitting here with no sunscreen on. And I like to get that light directly on my skin because it helps me so much. The sun gives us so much nutrition that's photosynthetic, like nutrition, like, light nutrition. It activates so much inside of our bodies. It activates our immune system, our metabolism, all kinds of things it does. So you want to be clear that it's not the sun causing the rash, but rather triggering something, because it activates your immune system and it activates detoxification. So if you have a rash, then you have to look a little deeper and say, what could be the cause of this rash? Probably something going on in your liver that you need to get extra support with. So maybe doing aloe and aloe shock therapy, some 369 cleanses, which I'm sure you've done, to help you get through that. But yeah, it also, like, if you are sensitive or feeling that it's triggering, don't go in the sun. I mean, that's what I recommend, because you don't want to trigger your immune system over and over again when you don't need to. So cold sores help, and best smoothie to heal viruses. So cold sores, lysine and propolis on top of the sore, and then best smoothie to heal viruses, heavy metal detox smoothie. You can't get better than that. So what are the supplements best for infertility? So I don't know if you have Cleanse to Heal, go check that out. I love that book. There's infertility protocols in there, but you need a lot of zinc. And I don't know if it's for a woman or a man, but for men especially, you need a lot of zinc and selenium and other things. But for women, you need to get rid of the Epstein-Barr that's in your uterus, right, in your reproductive organs. So nettle, red raspberry, core 7, so zinc, B12, micro C, lysine, cat's call, lemon balm, licorice root. Then on top of that, golden seal, curcumin, nettle, red raspberry leaf, bringing in, amla berry, bringing in all these foods and tools to help the reproductive system to get back to life. EVG Hook says, what are the key things to get rid of sarcoidosis? Oh my gosh, in the lungs. Lymphatic system cleanse. Well, the lymphatic system cleanse is the 369 liver cleanse, because the liver is the big brother of the lymphatic system, right? So you have, if you want to deal with the lymphatic system, you have to deal with this. So I've worked with 4 or 5 clients, and they have completely healed sarcoidosis. And if you want to, you have, like I said, the basic protocols that I've just um, explained, like the core 7, like I explained that, you start with those, but there's so much more to do with sarcoidosis. And we work with a lot of scar tissue protocols and a lot of EBV, really strong EBV protocols. So, but you start, the basics start here. So if you're interested and you want to know more about like my basic, I have the Roadmap to Healing course. This is something that I highly recommend that you check out, because it will summarize for you where to get started and how to get started, and like which books to refer to. And I've just posted the link so you can do that. So I Am Infinite says, hello, how to reduce an enlarged prostate. Again, I've helped many men with this issue. Enlarged prostates are caused, if not by cancer, then by Epstein-Barr um, inflaming the gland. So you have to work again with EBV protocols. It's and one very important tool for men with prostate stuff is to bring in um, pomegranate juice. It really helps to work with the PSA number and helps to reduce inflammation in the prostate. EVG Hook says, almost every night my hands cramp and go numb. What is the reason? Very likely, I think I answered this yesterday, but the reason is that you have an inflammation either from Epstein-Barr or shingles in these nerves that are going down. And when you lay down, the weight of them, because they're already swollen, the weight of them pushes against the nerve and it goes numb. So really what you want to do is be working with these protocols to, like, start with a core 7. I always tell you, start with a core 7, because over here I'm not talking to people. Go to the books. um, you know it's just a type of a neuropathy. So ooh, bees buzzing around me, which is always exciting but also a little nerve-wracking. um, so um, so if your hands cramp and go numb, you really want to address the viral load. Do the core 7, bring in celery juice, heavy metal detox, cut out the eggs, dairy, gluten, corn, soy, canola, um, and all of those will have an impact. Yvonne Garza says, if hair follicles are scarred, can it be restored? Yes, it can be. Are beets healthy? Doesn't really talk that much about beets. He says it's the wrong kind of sugar in beets, right? And you have to be careful of GMO beets as well. So Elena Alexandra says, a flap of gum tissue above the wisdom tooth is inflamed. What could cause that? Any kind of bacterial infection could cause that, right? Or an injury. Chao Chi Lee says, can boiled water after cool down become living water? Yes. If you add lemon to it, yes. Soulful by Eliza, with which topically for very itchy shingles type rash for 11-month-old baby, zinc, aloe. Topically, you would, if it's truly shingles, then you would put zinc and propolis on it. But if you put zinc and propolis on an eczema rash or a psoriasis rash, it gets really uncomfortable. And yes, you can put aloe topically too. But yeah, hope that helps. G. Christian says, a lot of inflammation in my body, afraid it will ruin my skin, cleansing and skin potion. Yes, definitely do that. But inflammation, you have to address by addressing the viral load. You're too high in your viral load. So, and you might need to cleanse a little bit to get rid of the viral load. 2 things get rid of a viral load. Cleansing the liver a bit more helps the liver to get rid of it on its own. And then bringing in the supplements and the foods will help to get rid of it. So if you have a lot of inflammation, start focusing on propolis, melatonin, curcumin, and things like that. Best way to deal with nail fungus, because nail fungus is a function of a very weakened immune system. So you have to deal with that weakened immune system, right? And you guys, we're starting the sleep program next week. So go check out my QR code and link. If you're struggling with insomnia, waking up in the middle of the night, have sleep apnea, snoring, waking up because you have pain, waking up because you have restless legs, all of these sleep issues will be addressed in the course. And I'll give you personal advice on it. Plus, if you really want a great Vimergy discount code, sign up. Wendy Tuliano says, I have a Chalazion What to Do, the Golden Seal Eye Wash, which I have posted the link to in the chat. Or you can look it up on my blog as well. That's really helpful. Shivan Gitakur says, for 11 years, I'm 11-year-old kid suffering from IBS, not digesting raw foods. What can be done? I would start them on a potato mono cleanse if they can handle that. Okay, trying to get through all these questions. So, apples for peas. My husband wakes up with very painful thumb, joint clicks, and cannot use it. Fine later in the day. Why? Probably because there's a viral impact, probably from EBV, and he's got a trigger thumb or something like that going on. So again, I would address it with the supplements, take him off the no foods, and bring in the Core 7 is a great place to start. And if it's painful, then bringing in curcumin, magnesium, lemon balm, cal poppy, they're also really helpful. Mama Ramsey says, sister has PTSD, helping her with MM. What's the most important brain shot? Trauma, shock, loss shot. Low albumin levels. Doctor says eat more protein. How on MM? I eat spinach soup every day. Low albumin levels. Most people who eat plant-based actually have lower albumin levels because they're not eating things like eggs. So, if you can eat more protein by bringing in lentil sprouts or like bean sprouts and things like that. Narbutinga says, is red clover tea okay to take during perimenopause? Absolutely okay to take, yes. Opalinka Kolinka, 369 in night shifts. I'm waking from 7 to 12, and then some patients can come at night. I actually answered this on the live last night, so go check out my YouTube live from last night. I answered this question there. Bobby Boxer, how high can one go with zinc deficiencies? No sensitivity, subs are well tolerated. You can go as high as a zinc shock therapy for an adult. I wouldn't recommend more than that because I'm not talking to them and I don't know what is going on for them. Sanya Basara says, male urinary urgency, can't hold urine for long, wakes once at night to urinate. That's all Epstein-Barr, usually all Epstein-Barr. Florin, digestive issues and frozen shoulder, leave out avocado and coconut, against shingles. If you have frozen shoulder, you need to bring in Core 7 plus propolis, golden seal, lysine, total immune blend. All of those will help and make a difference. And you need to bring in the shingle supplements that I've just talked about with so many people. So Core 7, curcumin, I just explained them to you, but also stay off the no foods. And lower your fat, that can help, but really you need nerve support. And that's ALA, magnesium, cal poppy, nettle leaf, MSM, all of those can be really helpful for nerve support. And our last couple of questions that were submitted are egusi seeds, uziza leaves, dawa, are they okay on an MM fat-free diet? I actually have no idea what those are. You want to write to me and let me know in my DMs? I'll try and figure it out and help you with that. Vitamin D, Vimergy spray to a newborn, yes or no? No, you don't need to. Mom should take it, not child. All right, I'm coming to our questions that are on the live chat happening right now. So I think we did the enlarged prostate question, and now the questions about how do you protect ourselves from mold and EMF and Wi-Fi radiation. Medical Medium writes about this in Brain Saver. You have the EMF 5G shot. You have lots of brain shots available to help with radiation exposure. Check out my blog on radiation exposure. I've got a lot of information in there too. Organite is really helpful to protect as well. So let me share the link with you. All right. Nice, Suntan. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I have a hard time finding a non-toxic makeup foundation. Some even have aluminum and iron oxide in them. They all do, Astrid. They all do. Because color comes from metals. So all the clean beauty ones I found, you cannot get metals out of them. Because even in all the shading, it has metals in it, titanium oxides and dioxides and iron oxides in different quantities to give you different shades. That's how they do it, right? Um, Desislava says, I have a hard time. Oh, I have a hard time finding an. Oh, I already answered that question. Desislava says, thank you so much for everything you do. I have one question. Are shock therapies allowed during pregnancy? No. If so, which supplements are considered safe to use for them during pregnancy? I have a whole blog on this. So I'm going to share that with you so that you can take a look at it. Um, Here it is. I'm sharing the link with you, Desislava, so you can share it with whoever is asking the question or you're asking that for. Um, how do you address a viral load? I know you put a website up last night. Yes, so to address a viral load, this is, I'll post the link again in my roadmap to healing. Um, it has everything in here. It's a free 7 video course that helps you address your viral load. That's what I shared last night. Um, so which book is best? Jian Shannon. Hi Jian, nice to see you here. What book is best for adrenal healing? The first one and the liver one. Both of those books address adrenals in a much deeper way than any other book. But also, I don't know if you've seen my courses on adrenals. They are also available for you to, like, master classes, like that will address the adrenal issues. I go very, very deep into adrenal issues. Um, what causes swelling in your feet? What causes swelling in your feet is uh, a liver being really overburdened, unless you have a heart or kidney issue. Top 3 things for breaking an addiction. I would do glucose, glucose, glucose. Eat glucose all day long, and you'll break an addiction much more easily. What do you recommend for healing POTS? For POTS is a disease where you are allergic to the neurotoxins produced by Epstein-Barr. So you have to cleanse and you have to get the viral load down, but you have to work slowly because people with POTS are very sensitive and they cannot handle. They're very toxic too, so they have to go really slow. But I recommend the Core 7. I recommend starting slow and you build in more and more. So if you have, like, some of my POTS patients have been on like beta blockers, right? So I have to help them work through dealing with the drugs and taking the protocols, and we go very slowly and we add things in little by little by little. I don't do full protocols for them all at once. I go very, very gently and very slowly. So any recommendations for an alternative to mammograms? So you can do a thermogram, or you could do the QT testing, right? There's a QT, there's a new kind of test that doesn't involve as much radiation. And a lot of my clients, I'm recommending them to go do that. Can you take herbs during pregnancy? I just posted a link to pregnancy supplements and what you can and cannot do. What brand of toilet paper do you recommend? I actually never recommended toilet paper to anybody, but I can tell you what I use. I use Who Gives a Crap. It's a kind of play on words, but yeah, Who Gives a Crap. Any perfumes that are safe? Yes, I mention a lot of safe perfumes in my clean beauty class. $27 if you want to go check it out. I've got a lot of clean beauty options there that we use in our own home, and my kids use. My kids have always used clean beauty, thank God. So yeah, there's quite a few perfumes and brands that are safe to use. Um, can periodontitis be healed and bone loss grow back? Yes, it can be. Um, so for the person who's asking a lot about, you're asking about a certain topic that I'm not going to talk about here. So if you want to ask those kinds of questions, you have to book a private appointment. And I'm talking to SSBoo 8EA. What is LMK is let me know. Let me know. All right, guys. I've answered, I think, all of your questions that you guys posted so far. Happy for you to join me. Check out the sleep course. The sleep course is going to be really awesome. It's happening next week. If you're struggling with sleep in any way, whether you're not sleeping the whole night, or you're sleeping part of the night, or you're waking up in the middle of the night, or I'm going to help you understand the root causes of your sleep issues and to help you understand how to deal with them, along with whatever protocols you're